Greetings and God bless. I've been meaning to do a video for a little while about being a solitary woman, the only person walking on a sidewalk or stepping outside of a store. So I'm here in Rapid City and I never have learned to drive. So I will walk or I will ride my bicycle. And that makes for a very challenging lifestyle because the weather can be 0 degrees. There can be 50-mile-an-hour winds, and the drivers here are very entitled. So it's a fight to just cross not just the street, but the driveway because people are not looking. They're not looking for pedestrians. When somebody's coming out of a parking lot, when somebody's just on a driveway, they are looking. They're always looking the opposite direction. They're not looking to see that there's somebody who's trying to walk on the sidewalk. So cars are constantly blocking driveways. Anyway, so I'm just setting the stage a little bit because here in Rapid, and I don't know if this is nationwide because of the past 2 years of the lockdowns and just everybody is having a more challenging financial time. But so I'll have like my something carrying something in my hand, walking my bike in my other hand. I'm wearing my big fluffy coat and just trying to navigate survival, right? And people will come up to me and they say, "Excuse me, ma'am," because they want me to give them money. They want me to buy something from them. They want me to hear them talk about whatever it is. And and people are offended when I'm like, "No." I mean, I get it from all classes. People selling their Girl Scout cookies. They want their princess, their lavishly rich family wants the poor to buy the cookies. That they're like right outside the store, so you have to kind of say no. Um, so it's like everybody's doing it from all angles and but I'm really talking to like the one guy. Like, so this happened to me. I'm exiting the library. I'm taking my bike lock off, and this was what's really annoying is that, like, here in Rapid they like to trap you, so they hold you hostage. So, when I've lived in New York, San Francisco, Portland, you're walking along the street and somebody's like, "Spare change," as you're walking along the street. But here, they wait until you're dealing with your lock. They wait until the cars are in front of you so you can't go away. And people who don't walk regularly, people who are very insulated and protected, and they have no clue about their they don't live beyond their little gated community of life. You won't really understand what I'm talking about. But for those who have lived in cities and or just maybe third world countries, because that is definitely what being in downtown Rapid is. It's a third world country, in my opinion. And so for some reason, though, it's like they won't go up to the group of 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 wealthy people. They won't go up to the couple. No, no, they target me. My hands are full. I have white hair. I'm fumbling with my bike. Yeah, yeah. So it's like people want to burden themselves on me that's already not. I'm not going into my SUV. I'm not even going into my little Toyota. No, they want somebody who is walking or biking in that bare subsistence economy, and that's what people are trying to squeeze blood from a stone. And I'm done with that. Like, I've already had jobs that squeezed the last little bit of life force. I already have had family that squeezed the last little bit of life that I have. I've just like, I don't have anything more to give the panhandlers, or I don't know what. I don't know if they're not sharing the gospel because they're not offering to share the gospel. They're like, "Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. I want something from you." As if like, is it the color of my skin that, "Oh, okay, I owe you." Is it my gender? I owe you, I guess. I'm every, homeless person's, every spare changer's, I'm your customer service, apparently. And that's the really annoying thing about being a nice person, being solo, being of a certain age, being female, walking, being a pedestrian, having limited income is like you get targeted hard because people can tell you're a nice person. They think you're going to be a soft touch, and you're just right there. I am not up in some sort of castle protected, and it's really so stressful. It's very annoying. And it makes me a little paranoid because I'm like, well, did I just piss some spare changer off? And I'm like, but it's not my job, spare changer. It's not my job. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry you need spare change. But if you need spare change, go into the library and ask the people who are working there. Ask them for spare change. Why is it my job? Why is it my responsibility? Why do I have to worry about watching my back because you expected me to take care of you? Like, so like me giving you a dime, that you got a piece of me. I don't want to give you a piece of me. Like I don't like it. And it's like people want to get a piece of you, and I don't want to give people a piece of me. And why is it that some people get to have boundaries? Why is it that I don't get to have boundaries? Because I'm this nice person, because I'm this lady that looks a certain way. So I'm just trying to work this out, and I know this is kind of like, um, probably nobody would ever want to listen to this, but it's been something on my mind. And look, if you're desperate, if you really need help, I don't begrudge you that. But why are you asking somebody who has a beat up bike and a beat up pair of shoes and a beat up coat? Why are you asking somebody who isn't flush with cash? Why are you asking somebody who just left the dollar store? Why not go ask somebody who came out of the boutique, or who came out of the fancy store, or somebody who spent a bunch of money at the gas station? Like, why are you asking somebody who's very clearly not flourishing? Why are you burdening them? Like, I don't begrudge you for needing spare change. I One time I forgot to bring change for the bus, and I asked a lady, and she gave me, the $1.75 that I needed for the subway. Okay. So that has happened to me. But, like, and maybe it happens to everybody here in Rapid, and they take it, they just roll with it. And it's just very stressful for me because all of my travel is on foot here, or on my bicycle. Hence, I don't really do much. I don't really go very far. People are like, "Where do you shop?" Like, I don't. I like my human scale, living by where I can walk. I like that kind of lifestyle. But here, like, the aggressive homeless people, they're like, "Oh, they you go, you're like 50 feet away, and they're like, ah, zombie." They're like, "Oh, there she is." It's really like that. And I've lived in a lot of different areas, and I've never had that kind of experience where it's like the zombie apocalypse. They're staggering towards you, and it's like some of the most disrespectful experiences I've ever had. And I'm not just saying, with homeless people, although, yeah, I mean, I would say, I've had some bad experiences. Just when you're on the sidewalk, you have bad experiences, and I'm sure people who are in gated communities, where it's very exclusive, bad things totally happen there to another degree, because there are Satanists and Luciferians, although Satanists and Luciferians are totally in the Native community or the crystal meth community, or white people or whatever. I mean, it's everywhere. So but yeah, I don't understand why, if somebody's going to ask for change, why are you asking another person who like like I just want to suggest, if you're asking for change, ask somebody who has maybe a medium-sized car, you know, or a car. Like, why are you asking somebody who's walking? Why are you asking somebody who has a bike? And I don't have like a fancy coat, and I don't have a fancy pair of shoes. Like I'm barely able to put myself somewhat passively together. It takes every little bit of effort to even get to this point, and it's not that great. So folks, if you're spare changing, and I respect you for having that courage, but if you're spare changing, you need to assess your person and not be like, oh, who's this nice person that I can bully, that I can guilt into giving me money? Because look, I've had 50 years of that crap. Like, it's not my responsibility to take care of somebody who's trying to bully me or trying to guilt me, especially when I don't have it to give. And I don't know. I mean, and the thing is, like, there's a whole bunch of other people right around. I mean, like, the guy could have asked the two people who were retired, who probably have a lot of discretionary income, but he chose to ask me. And I don't know, maybe people are like, "Oh, all people who ride a bike are rich white people." Maybe it's because I was riding a bike. All the white people who like to walk are rich white tourists. I mean, maybe that's what's in the aggressive homeless people's mind, or the aggressive spare changers' minds, is like, if somebody's walking, or somebody's white, somebody's walking, they must be rich. If somebody's white and they're at the library, they must be rich. If somebody's white and they're riding a bike, they must be rich. And the thing is, no, if you look at my bike, it's a 20-year-old bike. If you look at my coat, it's a beat up coat, not clean even. If you look at me, like, I'm rode hard and put away wet. Like, I am not flourishing, and what's annoying is, like, I'll be in certain situations, and like, other people will, especially women, will rake me with their eyes, disapproving, because I'm not wearing the latest and greatest. But then I'm like, trying to just leave the library, or I'm trying to leave the store, and the people want me to give them spare change. And you know and I already feel insecure, because I tend to it's cold here, so I tend to wear a lot of layers, and the only other people who that wear a lot of layers are the homeless people. So I'm already afraid that I seem like I'm, like, you know going to be regarded as a homeless person. So it's just like, there's no way to indicate to people asking for change, like, I don't got it, I need it. I need what I have. But and it's weird, because, like, I can understand, like, there's the majority of the aggressive panhandling. They're three sheets to the wind. They can barely walk straight. It's just a catastrophe of disabled and medicated, deranged people out on the street. So there's plenty of that. But the last couple times, like, these kind of more focused people were like, "Excuse me, ma'am," and I'm like, "No, no," I just because it's really traumatic. So if you spare change here in Rapid City, understand, like, I'm not having fun. I'm not like every minute or so something really distressing is going to happen. Some really loud, for some reason here in Rapid City, they really like to have loud cars, loud engines, super loud, where it's like reverberating your head. And they do this with motorcycles too. Like, you can actually sustain a concussion from loud noises. So all these engines that are doing super super loud, they're giving me a concussion. So that's pretty much like clockwork. Every maybe 10 minutes there's going to be some sort of loud motor, or some sort of you know toxic fragrance, or somebody won't let me cross the driveway, even though I'm on the sidewalk, because they're so important. Um, so it's like, I think people think if you are out in public, you're having fun, that you're on vacation or something like that. I'm thinking, because there's this entitlement, and somehow these people who are approaching me, they think I want to interact with them. They think I have bandwidth to have to navigate whatever BS they're going to try to do. And I just don't like that I'm targeted. I don't like that, I don't, I mean, like, it's just not what I want. And I guess maybe it's probably happening to everybody, but it certainly seems to happen to me quite a bit. But yeah, it's probably because I'm not in the exclusive gated community kind of situation. Because here in Rapid, the homeless people, or I guess the low income housing, perhaps, I don't know, but I'm assuming it's like downtown. So it's like that element is there, and the the mall is like 8 miles away. So everything, so where the prime shopping, the major shopping area is, it's quite a far away, and the buses are absolutely an incredible joke. The bus stops are in some places non-existent, and even the drivers don't necessarily even know where all the bus stops are, because there's no bus stop sign. So anyways, so it's just, I guess it's what I'm thinking, and I'm just kind of ranting here. But I guess it's just this telling to me that if you're in the location where all the tourists are, and where the low income housing is, that's just gonna, and if you're white, um and you seem like a nice person, and if you're alone, you're going to be asked for money. And there's just this entitlement. I mean, I don't know. I guess, like, what happened in Rapid is a bunch of white people were like, "Oh, here, like, when you see white people, they should be giving you money. When you say we see white people, there should be guilty." You know what? That's not true. Okay, like, that's like, if you're a First Nations person, if you're a Native person, and you think that white people owe you, if you think that white people are guilty just because of the color of their skin, you are messed up, and you are wrong. That is not true, and you are doing yourself a disservice by thinking that the color of somebody's skin makes them a criminal. That's wrong. And you know that, like, historically there have been lies, right? That lies have been told to the First Nations people. You know what? Lies have been told to the white Americans. It's not like, just because I'm a white person, that I'm in with the Freemasons. It's not just because I'm a white person that, oh, I'm getting all of the globalist privilege. That is not the case. They are in their own little secret bloodline of Luciferians and Freemasons and whatever secret societies. And the rest of us white people who don't have a car and don't own land and don't have prestigious whatevers, we're not in that club. And I'm not saying all of the people who have a car and a house and prestigious jobs, I'm not saying they're all in it, but they're probably somewhat complicit. But just, like, just because if you're native, if you're Latino, if you're black, if you're Asian, if you're whatever, just because somebody's white doesn't mean that they get all that they have been spared the same traumas that you went through. Like the malignant narcissists are not racist. The malignant narcissists just harm whoever. Malignant narcissists, psychopaths, sociopaths, they harm black people, they harm white people. The narcissists, the psychopaths, they harm, white men, white women, Christian, whatever. So stop being so racist yourself. Native person, black person, whoever. Stop being so racist. Stop thinking that all white people have it easy, because we don't. And I have a lot of friends. If you just go spend some time in a homeless shelter, how many times have you done that? How many times have a black person or a native person gone deliberately to help white people in a homeless shelter? Maybe once, right? And you know what? Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe hundreds of black people have or native people have specifically gone to a homeless shelter to help white people. Maybe that's the case. And that would be cool. I would be happy to be proven wrong, but I'm pretty sure that about 1,000,000 times more white people have gone to help black people, to help native people, to help Asian people, to help Latino people. And I'm right. So I'm tired of this racism. I'm tired of this like expectation that somehow I'm supposed to be like Miss Customer Service, Miss Mother Teresa, when I'm barely can stand and propel myself forward, but somehow, like I'm supposed to be your mommy, and I'm just and I guess what I'm just discovering is I really need to leave Rapid City. I really need to just leave this city, and just where to go. So yeah, I'm looking for a place that's more pedestrian friendly, and I think that would make such a difference. Pedestrian friendly and not a lot of toxins, because I think part of the problem here in Rapid is I think there must be some sort of toxic exposure, and I don't know exactly what, but because it's just like I feel so much pressure on my heart, and I know, and I'm sure there's like supernatural elements as well, um, but yeah, so, and that's just hard to do. It's hard to figure out what place has clean air, what place has, less 5G. So, anyways, yeah. So I just need to remove myself from this bad situation. And shame on you, Rapid City. Shame on you for not keeping this downtown safe for people to walk, for a solo white female to walk around without having to be fending off everybody. Shame on you, Rapid City. Because there's just this obliviousness, this indifference, and this just, well, you should just buy a car, you should just buy a home, and live out in the boonies. Not everybody can. Not everybody can afford that. If I could, I would. If I could afford to buy a house, and I certainly would not put my tax money into Rapid City by any means. It's been the worst city I have ever lived in. And I'm gonna just say also about like the medical side. So these First Nations people, you could just see the poor medical care generally that they've given. Just there's so many people walking, limping, and um and I had a foot injury myself. The doctor didn't give me a boot. He didn't give me crutches. He didn't give me a kneeling scooter. He didn't even give me aspirin. He just looked at my leg, gave me an X-ray, said it wasn't broken, and that's it. He didn't give me any help at all. And it took me like a couple months, maybe 3 yeah, I'm on my 3rd month of recovery and my foot still hurts. It's still swollen. And I did all this kind of home self-care, but I had to ask for crutches. As I was leaving in the cab, I was like, "I can't walk." I had to and then I had to get ask some friends, "Can you find me a kneeling scooter? Because I'm completely debilitated." I couldn't even go to the bathroom. So the medical care here for just like a basic kind of injury is just awful here in Rapid. And maybe if you have, if you know somebody who knows somebody, you can get the care that you need. I'm thinking that's just how it is. And and they are doing medical kidnapping here in hospitals. If you have any kind of breathing issue, if you anything, I can't even say the word because we are in the age of censorship, but a hospital here medically kidnaps people, and they won't even let spouses be around to see the person who's in the hospital. Like, unbelievable, outrageous. Um, and I think, like, I have a theory because every place that I've lived, there's like a trend, a medical trend. Like when I first moved to Missoula, everybody's pupils were really constricted. They were the tiniest pupils. I don't know if they were on a certain type of medication, like if it was some type of heart medication or whatever. I was thinking maybe it was the pollution because there's a lot of forest fires and what's a lot of pollution from what's called an inversion. So I was thinking maybe their lungs were under a lot of stress. But like here, the First Nations people, and not just that, the white people too, just all this staggering and limping. And it's like the medical care, they don't it's 2022. We have physical therapy, we have crutches, or we have, there's just all sorts of ways to keep the body working when somebody's in their 70s or when they're a homeless person and they're in their 40s or 30s. And I think that some of the demonized Luciferian doctors and city council people, they like seeing, it's my theory that they like seeing people limping, whether it's the homeless people, whether it's the older people, whether it's whoever. I think they like seeing humans that are slowed down and hindered and twisted and sick. I think because why, it's March 2022. There's chiropractic, there's physical therapy, there's all sorts of amazing technology that we have. Some of it isn't even very expensive. We have homeopathy, but nobody's using it. It's like you are on your own when you're here in Rapid City. We are, I don't know, we're not even 100 years in the past, because 100 years ago, I bet there was homeopathy here. We're like, you know, I don't know. I I mean, I would think like care was probably better 200 years ago. We have devolved. And I feel like Rapid is just an embarrassing, shameful place where they don't take the doctors do not take care of um their community. I don't know if it's doctors, nurses, clinics, hospitals, whatever. I don't know all the terminologies, health department or whatever. Oh, they want to suffocate you. Oh, they want to put genetic modification, luciferase, um, graphene oxide into you. Oh, first, and let's keep doing it every few months. Sure, let's do that. Yeah, we'll have things written in the school documents that cavity searches are allowed in school of underage children without parental consent. Oh yeah, we'll make sure to do that, and we're going to have critical race theory, and um, you know, make children doubt their biological gender, will make children feel guilty about the color of their skin, or do some sort of weird superiority thing because of the color of your skin, and that the private property of certain people belongs to other people because of skin color, uh, because of a Marxist agenda. Yeah, we'll make sure to do that, but we won't help people, even homeless people, or even somebody who has insurance. We're not gonna make sure that they're walking okay. We're gonna have just this bumper crop of limping, staggering people from the whole range of homeless people to retirees. Um, and maybe I don't know, maybe it's like this rugged individualism that people don't want to get the care that they need. Perhaps, maybe that's the mentality, but still, I don't think that's healthy. I don't want to be around people who are going to just settle for being injured for the rest of their lives. I've lived in places in California and New York and Oregon where people did they've been injured and they healed themselves. They got whatever care they needed to sufficiently get their functioning back to the original or even better than before. And so I guess I'm learning that that's really important to me. And the funny thing is those kind of locations, it's like where people are healthy, the rents are like thousands of dollars. And I'm like thinking maybe I should just get a business loan for $1 million. I don't know. Get a business loan and then just rent a place with a business loan, because there's just nothing out there. And the risk is, I mean, it's just kind of a uh, it's to rent a place, so they want a first and last in deposit, and then you don't even know. So let's say you look at the place, like the thing is, there's weird sounds that occur, like that go from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m., or weird smells that occur at random times, or carbon monoxide poisoning when the people in the upstairs showers get used. And I've had all those things happen to me, so it just makes finding a new location a challenge, because most places are uninhabitable, and most places don't um, make accommodations because they don't care. Most landlords don't care about a tenant, because what is the tenant going to do? Like there's no recourse. And so when I think about that, I'm like, well, then, do I just keep imagining myself walking into a forest, and of course a landslide could happen, or earthquake, or a mountain lion, or a bear. Um, so that would, definitely limit things pretty quickly. Uh, but yeah, I really don't know what my options are, other than maybe applying for a business loan and trying out different locations until I find a habitable one. So this channel is about post traumatic growth, and I would say the housing issue is definitely one for those who are struggling with trauma, because there's just a million different things that have occurred. I think um, where human habitation has declined, has been made worse with LED light fixtures from street lamps, and um, just uh, just like a lack of consideration. In the past, you knew not to be like loud. People just had like kind of manners and respect, and like now nobody. It's just all bets are off, because everybody's just so medicated and just out of their mind. Um, and then like businesses are like, well, I need this. I'm not going to pay to get this loud motor noise fixed. So whoever's around there, they'll just have to suffer because my needs are more important than the people who live around there. And the people who are living generally are so afraid to say anything that these abusive, just extremely abusive situations just get out of control and entrenched. Um, so anyways, I guess this is just more. I just need to live where people will speak up about healthy community, healthy environment, and I mean like true health, like not artificial fake BS about suffocation and needing to have genetic modification, luciferase, graphene oxide in their bloodstream, and that somehow that is health. Because how can that be health when all of your life you were breathing, even though you might have gone to Africa or South America or been in a hospital in an infectious ward, and somehow you managed without suffocating yourself, like somehow you managed to be alive, but now all of a sudden you have to suffocate yourself 24 hours a day. And now somehow you think that putting a genetic modification device and nanotech, graphene oxide, and luciferase, amongst many other things, now you're thinking that you need to do that every few months, that somehow that is going to bestow health. Even though all of your life, when you got a cold or when you got the flu or when you got, meningitis or whatever, like you used to rest, you used to drink, chicken soup or hot tea, or, you would take some echinacea or whatever. Like you used to do that and that worked. Even you've had bad illnesses and those things helped. But now you're like, "Oh, I need to get certain liquids from a questionable vial dumped into my bloodstream and into my children's bloodstream and into all of my loved ones' bloodstream and my friends. If I'm going to interact with them, if I'm going to have any social interaction, they have to have that and also suffocate themselves too. That's what health is. I mean, we are in such insanity, and I don't see it shifting at all. Not one of my family, not one of my friends has that's kind of like just, disown me or whatever, like friends aren't my friends anymore. Like no one said, "Hey, I'm thinking about blah blah blah." Not a one. It's just like an amazing, it's a phenomenon, you know? Um so yeah, I am not here for, I mean, I am not of this world, you know, because it's, or, yeah, I mean, I don't belong here. And I've always felt like I didn't belong in this time. I always thought it was just this time period that I didn't belong. But upon learning about Jesus Christ, and that once we take refuge in Lord Jesus Christ, and accept his gift of salvation, that we are like our spirit and our soul, I think, is up in heaven with Jesus, and so our body is just here, and the Holy Spirit, his Holy Spirit is in us, so so I'm just longing for the return of Jesus, because this is ridiculous. This is a ridiculous situation. It's very dysfunctional. It's unsatisfying. And and praise the Lord that some people are happy, thriving, flourishing, having fun. I mean, I hope they find Jesus, because that really is very important. But I'm glad that some people are really happy. I am not. And I just don't know what the solution is. I don't know what the answer is, other than, I get to pray. So, all right. Well, that was very helpful to brainstorm about, and I'm open to any recommendations. People have been suggesting, like one friend was suggesting northeast New Mexico. Another person was suggesting Arkansas. A couple people recommended Texas. Somebody recommended Arizona, Scottsdale. Uh, and Like part of me is concerned about going back east because if there is some sort of like economic crash, then, and let's say there's no food, from what I understand, is you want to be west of the Mississippi because, uh, like people in New York and major cities on the East Coast, they'll start going west. And if there's some type of tsunami, but yeah, so I guess like Arkansas might be good. Although one of my friends in Montana was like, well, Arkansas, there's a reason why the land there is so cheap. So yeah, I'm not sure what is next, but I think this is good for now. All right. God bless.